Well, good evening, everybody. This is Luke the Vacuum Saver back at ya. How's it been, everybody? I've missed you all. We're almost at a month and a half since we've done a vacuum video. First of all, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that is enjoying my YouTube shorts. And, I said that a new video would be coming out on the week. And it is just before Sunday morning, so I am submitting the requirement on time. And but by the time you see it, it might be Sunday morning, which by the calendar starts a new week. But in our minds, Monday starts a new week. So yes, like I said, thank you for all the attention on YouTube Shorts and all the other videos alike. So we are going to call this edition the Miraculous Saved Edition of Vacuum Saved. Just take a look at how beautiful these vacuums turned out for you today. Holy smoly macaroni. Well, both of these share something pretty special. Is we haven't had them on the channel for quite some time. And honestly, I didn't think I'd be saying this, but it actually feels nice to have a Kenmore back in the garage. Yeah, years ago, if you saw that video where I had a bagless Kenmore, you know that I went on a rant about a brush roll system, and, this Kenmore just happens to have that exact same system on it, but we'll go all into detail about what it is and why I shouldn't have been holding such a grudge, because it's a pretty nice system, actually. So let's just have a look at these one more time in a moment of silence. Thank you so much. And that moment of silence was a tribute for everything that these vacuums went through from me in order to be saved, and their past life is now gone, and they're in a safe location with me. Now, take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We have been doing so much good for God's community. I want you to see this for a second, okay? This is how many vacuums I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my point, ladies and gentlemen, is that, excuse me, I had 18 of these in here one time. And, so yeah, very, very, very high success rate. And, honestly, I'm starting to get a little fried at doing all of these vacuums, because it's the same problems every week. And, I'm sure some of the vacuum savers that watch my videos and collectors can relate to some of the problems that I encounter sometimes while saving these. That is enough of my jibber jabber. So, if this is your first video with me, my name is Luke, and I repair vacuums for people in need for free, and I clean them all out and give them back to people in need for free without expecting anything back. I've just found that piece almost 12 years ago when I was at a pretty low time in my life. For those of you that know me, know all the details, but we're not going to go into that on video. This is happy time, not depressed time. So, yeah, I started finding peace in restoring these, and I've been going at it ever since. And we are successfully up to 352 vacuums saved in total over the 11 years that I have been doing this. So if this is your first video with me, back on track, we do an introduction, which is what you just saw there. Next will be story time. I'll bring the vacuums to right about here on the carpet. From right where I'm standing to where they are currently. They'll come out to here at my foot, and then we'll talk about them a little bit and explain what each one had to go through in order to be restored. And then I'll push them back to their location where they are now for the third part of this episode, which will be the test run edition, where I'll plug the vacuums in, I'll start them up, and run them on the floor here for a little bit for you to show you their progress. 1 second, please. And then we're going to do a final, sorry about that, a final conclusion where I will put them back in their original position, and I'll talk a little bit about them like I am right now at the end. So that's enough of my jibber jabber. Let's move on to what we got going on today. So On our our left hand side, we have an Oreck XL Signature Series. An Oreck XL Signature Series. Oh man, that light's giving it some nice attention there, I'd say, ladies and gentlemen. That's a faulty light, please don't mind it. And then, over on our right hand side, we've got a beautiful blue dinosaur staring us in the face. This is a Kenmore Progressive with IntelliClean with a direct drive beltless system, which I'll go into detail a little bit later on in the video. Alright, so now it's story time, so that we saw those machines. Which one do you want to start with today, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to leave it up to you. Do we want to start on the right-hand foot with the right-hand side, or do we want to start on the left? Oreck or Kenmore, they're both really good. Pick your poison. Okay, you want to do the Oreck first? I agree with that. Okay, let's do him first. Stand by, everybody. Just 1 second. Alright. Sorry about that little technical difficulty there, ladies and gentlemen, but this world is not perfect. My friends, my people, my family, hello to all of you. How's it going? This is Luke the Vacuum Saver here. Now, what I have here for you today is a Oreck XL Signature Series. Now, this is an early 2000s vacuum, and now where are you going to find these Orecks? Typically, well, years ago, before hotels started using, and God knows why they use cheap Bissell 3313 Power Force bagless models versus these is beyond me. But years ago when I was a little kid, when I started getting into these, I would find these in almost every hotel we'd stay in. And I'm thinking, now why are they getting rid of them? Well, God only knows that answer. But I picked this one up from a flea market way far away from my hometown, and it was clogged down here in the hose system. And, yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And then, this bag cover, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about this for a second. Keep something in mind that, just because it has the bag out here on the cover, okay, that nice velvet soft cover, oh my goodness sakes, doesn't mean that you don't have to maintain the vacuum bag every second. So, here's what you gotta do. If you want to maintain your vacuum's peak performance, you see the zipper right here? This has access to a bag inside of this red velvet cover here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So just take the zipper, roll them on up, scoot them around the other side, back down, and then that reveals your bag. Please make sure that you have the right bag for your vacuum. Please. Now, God for granted, this is not a Hoover Wind Tunnel Supreme, but if you do have the wrong bag in it, let me show you what's going to happen. Is you see this nice clean cover right here inside? Well, that's going to be covered all in dust, and almost every vacuum I do has a problem in that matter. I have received a huge variety of vacuums in my days, and most of them were bagged and not bagless, and I deal with the exact same problem on bagless vacuums every time I do one. Every time I do a bag vacuum, it has the exact same issue. It has the wrong bag in it, and dust gets all over the bin. And this, not joking, took me 1 hour and 15 minutes to completely deep clean this with a spot cleaner, and to shop vac this with a shop vac to get every last little bit of dirt out, and now it's a successful running vacuum. So I am very happy about this one, actually. Now, years ago, I had an Oreck XL21. But I got rid of that because somebody needed it, so I donated it for free, being the kind soul that I typically am. So yeah, he got that. It was my best buddy that was in need at the time, so I really didn't care that much if he got it or not. So I gave that one to him, and now in return I get this one. So yeah, this was found from a flea market, and the lady said it worked fine, and no, it wasn't fine actually. It sounded like a Hoover steam vac or a Bissell Pro Heat. The motor was extremely high pitched, and that was all because of that wrong bag that I showed you in there. Now that is not the wrong bag that's in there right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's clear that up. That's the right bag, but the wrong bag had torn inside and was blowing dust everywhere and just causing a big mess. So yeah, that was not fun to deal with. But you know what? God knew that this was the vacuum that needed me at the time that I had it. So I'm just very, very grateful to have these. And you notice that an Oreck handle is very different, and vacuum brands are trying to catch on to it now. It's called this helping handle thing that David Oreck, their CEO, designed. It's for people with arthritis that that it helps them vacuum with a more stable grip. So it has these little lines in the handle here. Now, other brands are trying to catch on with that, such as this Kenmore. I'll show you in a little bit. But the Shark is doing the exact same design now with their vacuums. If you notice right here, there is a little crease design. That's for the people with arthritis. It helps you keep a nice firm grip on the vacuum while you're cleaning. So it's a really, really sweet thing that David Oreck did, and I'm all for it. Because that's a super nice, generous thing that they do. Because they don't have to do that for people, but they choose to. So that's super sweet. So big shout out to you, Oreck. And it's really, really, really nice to have another one of your products in my garage again. So, and even I like this vacuum for around the garage here, because of how light it is, and now that it has the right bag, it is super powerful. And you guys are fortunate enough to see it today in action. So, yeah, YouTube Shorts is racking up the views, everybody, because I just keep posting and posting and posting on there as requested. So, yeah, I hope you guys have been enjoying those. That is part 1 of story time. Now, let's bring out the big blue dinosaur. Something that we have not seen on the channel for a while. Okay. Oh my goodness, you can even feel the power that this thing has just pushing it across the floor. Alright, my friends, my people, my family, I apologize about the story time with the Oreck with the faulty light. That is working properly now. So, my friends, my people, my family, hello, hello, hello. How are we doing, my friends, my people? So, what you are looking at here, this is part 2 of story time, is a Kenmore Progressive with IntelliClean direct drive beltless system bagged vacuum cleaner. Now, this is the Queen Mary of vacuums because it's got features on it that at the time it was produced in the early 2000s that no other vacuum had at that point. And I picked this up used from a secondhand store direct. And when I say this thing looked like it got ran over by a freight train, I'm not kidding. It was so full. I don't know if it was used for a shop vac or what, but I'm not kidding. This hand, you see this nice little cord wrap here that I repaired with my own time and money? That was completely broke. It was split in half right here. I had to take some super glue and squeeze that back together. So yeah, now that holds the cord quite nicely there. This hose right here was my biggest problem And what happened was, ladies and gentlemen, this was actually so this was actually so full of dirt right here in this hose area, like around down here and everything. And apparently somebody didn't know how to attach the system properly, because what happened is this hose part was the whole way up here on the cord, just trying to hold it in place, and then an extension one, a crevice tool, all going down the one thing, and then they wonder why it doesn't pick up any dirt, because it's so clogged to the max with your dirt. And so now let's talk about this beltless direct dry system. A couple of years ago, I had a Kenmore Progressive bagless vacuum, and it had this same design. And I went on a rant about how much I hated it, and I still do slightly to this day, because, well, number one, you've got to take off at least 15 screws on the base plate here to take off the brush roll. You got to sit this 30-some pound dinosaur up on a bench or a picnic table or something to get the plate off effectively. And only then can you maintain this brush roll. Oh, let me also tell you something they were hiding from me. They did not properly hook up the brush roll, and I found that out, and it was throwing sparks at me the second I turned the vacuum on when I got it home that first day. And I'm thinking, well, I've never seen a vacuum do that before. What's going on? Well, here they accidentally put the wrong kind of... The connection on the vacuum was improper, and like you see right here, like on the vacuum, this area right here, right next to this reset button, I'll talk about that in a second, but back here is where the motor sits for this direct drive brush. So this is technically a 2-motor vacuum. So you got one motor back here for the beltless drive system right here that powers the brush, and then you got your second motor right here for the actual vacuum that causes the suction power. And so it's a very, very, very nice design vacuum. The only downside is its weight, but it is an extremely powerful vacuum, and I love it. Now, if your brush roll gets jammed or something, like let's say you suck up a sock or something like that, you can easily reset the brush roll. You do not have to throw the vacuum out. So here's what you got to do to reset the brush roll. First of all, please, ladies and gentlemen, for the love of God, unplug your vacuum. Okay? Now what you got to do is, then once the vacuum is unplugged, you got to take your finger or a screwdriver or something. You see that little focus? Focus. Okay, there you go. So what you got to do is push this little reset button right here with a screwdriver or something that will push that down. Hold for 6 seconds. And your vacuum is good to go. And then you turn it on. And also, this does have a safety feature. If the vacuum is in the upright storage position like this, it will not turn the brush roll. So the handle release has to be down, and it's right here at my foot. So just watch for a second. Pull back. Starts out the brush roll. So, and now keep in mind, this does have multiple brush roll speed settings, and we'll discuss these as when we get to story time, when I turn the vacuums on in just a few moments. So this is the off button right here, and then this is your high speed button, like a missile on steroids. This if you push this carpet button, it really goes, this vacuum. And then you have your gentle scrub setting, which is what that does is that just slows down the brush roll, and you can vacuum your hardwood floors. Now, I want to talk this IntelliClean for a second. It's this yellow button right down here. Now, what that does is, if you push that button, this becomes like the Shark Power Clean Detect vacuum that you see nowadays. it will run the motor up and down and detect how much dirt is in your carpet on its own. And you can tell how much dirt is in your carpet by this little thing called a dirt sensor right here. There are 3 indicator lights that are orange, which indicate dirty. And then on this green, so these 3, this one, this one, this one, are orange, and this one is green when your carpet is clean. So this one's the clean mode, and this dirt sensor, this light right here where my finger is pointing, this one, and that one are all dirty. So if one of those lights up, you know your carpet is dirty and it found something. Now that works on any mode, not just the IntelliClean, but the IntelliClean will deliberately slow the vacuum motor speed down if there's not much dirt in your carpet. Now, like I said, this had to go through a lot with me, and this did have the wrong bag, so I'll show you what I was talking about with what I was saying about how dust reaches the bin here. So, of course it has the right bag in it, but if it does not, what happens is you see this perfectly crystal clean bag cover door here. It's going to be just in an all pancake brown color, and that's not a good sign because that means you have the wrong bag in it. So yeah, that's a no-go. So yeah, that is story time for that one. This one actually takes the cake for being the longest vacuum repair time of approximately 22 hours and 19 minutes to completely restore this vacuum. So yes, it did take me over a span of 2.5 days to complete this vacuum, but it just makes me that much more proud because I know how to do more and more than I thought I ever did now. Like I said, God knew this was the vacuum that I needed at the time to really challenge me of what was possible. And I got my answer here, and now it runs like a charm. So now it's time for our favorite part of the night, a test run of each of these. So do we want to start on the left or do we want to start on the right with the Kenmore? Interesting. I like your decision, though. Okay, we'll start with the Kenmore. So, and then we'll run the Oreck here in just a moment. I think we're just going to run this one first. Just get it out of the way. Now, keep in mind, this is a very hush vacuum now that it is all completely cleaned out and everything. And this Oreck is loud because it's just got a little bit more powerful motor. But this one's going to be close because they are both really, really, really powerful. And it'll be interesting to see which one goes down in victory here for being the most powerful vacuum in my collection. So, let's see. Alright, so our power is on. We are ready to go. Now, I'm just going to give you a little test fire here and show you what she sounds like. So here we go with the Kenmore Progressive with IntelliClean. We're just going to fire it up for a second here. Just for its test sound. 1, 2, and 3. How about that? She's ready to run. Well, let's let her run like a rebel then. So, alright, we're going to first start out with the gentle scrub speed. And I'm just going to show you what it's capable of on that. Now, keep in mind, like I said, here, watch this. So, watch this brush roll real close, okay? See the brush roll? I don't know if you can hear me over the vacuum, but the brush roll does not spin. Here, I'll just say it again, the brush roll does not spin if the vacuum is in the upright position. Now, if I depress the handle here, and I fire it up again, there we go. And see, there your dirt sensors came on. So let's just do one pass on this side on gentle scrub, and then I'll show you carpet. 3, 2, 1. So as you see, that did a really nice job with just the gentle scrub. Now, are you ready to see this thing go monster mode with normal carpet? Now notice the brush hole is spinning now. If I put this handle back up into the upright position, it stops spinning. Now, you see the green light has kicked on. That means it's detecting no more dirt in my carpet. Now, if I bring it back over to this section, watch what happens. Did you see the little red dirt flasher there? Okay, now, real quick before I wrap up the Kenmore's test run here, I want to show you IntelliClean. So, what you gotta do is just push the shell button right here. Now see, it shows IntelliClean is on. So it's sensing no dirt in my carpet, and then that green light is telling me so. Now if that was red, and there was a little bit of dirt in my carpet, it would let me know. So, yeah. Now see, I passed over a piece of dirt there and it picked it up. So, like I said, this is just like a shark power detect that you see in the stores nowadays. And, how about that for a successful Kenmore? Alright. I just thought I'd show you every feature that vacuum has to offer. And I think it's pretty cool, honestly. And honestly, I'm not holding such a grudge because you get a lot more power with a brush roll that size. It really gets deep down in there and cleans. And I showed you that it does have the working dirt sensor on it. So this was an interesting save, and I'm more than happy to do it. So, yeah, let's wrap that guy up. And let's test our Oreck. Way to go, Kenmore. Alright, let's just set him off to the side here real fast. And plug this guy in. AKA the loudmouth. Because that's exactly what it is. Because this is much louder than the Kenmore, but it has a much more powerful motor on it. It is a 7.8 amp motor, but it has more CFM, so it's going to get possibly a little bit more than the Kenmore did, but I highly doubt that. So, let's plug him in, and let's get started with a test run. Okay, first Oreck in a while since I've had this channel. So, I'm going to fire it up real fast here. Just say test sound in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So let's give it a test run. Hey Oreck, do you think you can do as good as my Kenmore? How about that for a successful save, too? Wait, was that some Oreck ASMR that you want to hear some more of? You know what? I'm down for that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that really is it this time. But I just thought I'd share with you guys what I do outside of my not only college life, firefighter life, but hopefully for not much longer, but the single life. I am no longer a boyfriend. But one of these days I will be to the right woman. So, and she's gonna love me for all that I do, not just for vacuums, but for her. And, yeah, that's just comes standard. So, let's get this guy wrapped up here. Alright, that's good enough. Alright, so let's put these two side by side one last time. Okay, so my final thoughts on these two are they are both amazing, incredible vacuums, as you guys saw. It's incredible what a little bit of tender love and care can do for these vacuums. It's been my honor and my privilege to share my passion with you guys again. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.